are William and Kate replacing King Charles. The crown of England, a symbol of tradition, a burden of duty. But behind the palace doors, royalty is a weapon, and silence is the real power. This is not the story of a handover, but of a generational war orchestrated by William and Kate. A Game of Thrones where Diana's legacy is not just a memory, but the most powerful tool for an ascent. For the first time, decisions were made without asking permission. Pieces were moved without waiting their turn. We have seen the smiles, but we have never seen the plan. A master plan that King Charles never saw coming. The monarchy's destiny hangs by a thread, and it all began with something the royals should never have allowed. A surprise. The royal family is rarely caught by surprise. Until now. A sudden announcement sent shockwaves. It shook the foundations of the palace and beyond. It left even the most seasoned royal watchers stunned. But inside, sources claim it was no accident. Behind William and Kate's calm smiles lies a plan. A cold, calculated plan. This move isn't just about duty, it's about power. And they've decided to stop waiting their turn. It all started with a single line on the royal website. A formal announcement will be made at 6 p.m. No further details, no hints, nothing more. For an institution known for its meticulous planning, this was unheard of. Normally, the palace offers quiet tips to trusted journalists, but not this time. The silence itself was deafening. The public knew immediately that something big was happening. The media went into a frenzy. Reporters had no answers. Phones were ringing off the hook. Theories were flying. Some ideas sounded wild. Others felt all too real. Was it a health scare? A sudden abdication? Nobody knew. And that only added to the tension. Then people noticed something else. William and Kate had missed a public event that same day. At the time, it didn't seem important. Now it was impossible to ignore. If this was a message from the king, he would be the one to speak. But instead, the focus quietly shifted to the younger royals. At exactly 6 p.m., the screen lit up. It wasn't Charles or Camilla. It was William and Kate. No grand stage, no throne or guards. Just the two of them, sitting in what looked like a regular office. And yet, they had the full attention of the nation. William spoke first. No royal greetings or protocol. Just strong, clear words. The monarchy is not just a symbol. It's a responsibility. That line hit hard. It wasn't a rebellion. It was a new direction. Kate continued, calm, firm, serious. This isn't about tradition, she said. It's about trust. With those few words, they redefined the meaning of royalty. There was no sign of King Charles or Queen Camilla. William and Kate were alone, but they stood for something much bigger. They weren't asking for loyalty, they were offering honesty. And in a world full of secrets, that felt truly powerful. And then came the moment that changed everything. The Diana Initiative. Kate didn't just remember Princess Diana's legacy, she brought it into the present. When she announced the Diana Initiative, it didn't feel like just a tribute. It felt like a turning point. It was about giving Diana's voice a real purpose again, stronger and more lasting. Diana's story had often been softened over the years, muted or reframed into old memories. But Kate refused to accept that. She wanted to revive it with real action. This time, Diana's legacy wouldn't be remembered. It would be used. The Diana Initiative was presented as a global non-profit organization built on the values that made Diana so beloved: kindness, honesty, and putting people first. But it wasn't just another charity with a royal logo. It was a plan of action. And Kate wasn't just lending her name. She was the driving force behind it all. From the very beginning, she made it clear: no red carpets or staged photos. Kate promised to visit the places that matter: women's shelters, low-income communities, places where help is needed most. She would sit with survivors and listen to families, not for headlines, but because it was the right thing to do. The public saw it immediately. This wasn't about looking royal. It was about being useful. It reminded many of how Diana worked, hands-on and up close. But this time, with a greater reach and long-term goals. Diana had used kindness to resist. Kate was using it to lead. Do you think this was a sincere tribute or a strategy to win public favor? Let us know in the comments. The support was immediate. Social media lit up with praise. They called Kate the new People's Queen. The media didn't crown her with jewels. They crowned her with trust. It felt like a global moment, but inside the palace, the silence was absolute. Too quiet. Not a word from King Charles or Queen Camilla. No praise, no show of support. That silence spoke louder than any statement. Behind the scenes, things were tense. King Charles, caught off guard, reportedly asked, "What have they done?" He wasn't angry, just shocked. As he was trying to settle into his role as king, the spotlight shifted away from him. The public was no longer looking at the monarch. They were looking at William and Kate. Their new project connected with people in a way royal events hadn't managed in years. Camilla, however, was deeply unsettled. She had worked for years to gain respect. But now Diana's name was back, stronger than ever. Some inside the palace muttered about protocol. Kate hadn't asked for permission. She just acted, and that scared them. Camilla reportedly wanted the initiative brought under royal control, tidy managed and toned down, but advisors warned against it. Trying to take control would only make the palace look jealous. So instead, the palace did nothing. They hoped the interest would fade, but it didn't. William knew what was happening. According to close sources, he told an aide, "This isn't a discussion, it's a strategy." He wasn't looking for approval. He was moving forward with a purpose. The tension between Charles and William wasn't public, but it was real. Charles felt the spotlight slipping away. In private, he sadly admitted, "The spotlight has gone." William, for his part, felt hurt by his father's silence. He wasn't trying to break the monarchy. He was trying to save it. The tension finally boiled over. At a charity event, Queen Camilla was asked about the Diana Initiative. Her response was sharp. "The monarchy has always served with dedication. We don't need to invoke the past to prove it." The comment made headlines immediately. Many saw it as a direct attack. Kate, usually composed, chose her response carefully. At an initiative event days later, she said, "This work isn't about the past. It's about the future we build together." She didn't mention any names, but the message was clear. It wasn't a confrontation, but she wasn't backing down either. The exchange fueled stories of a royal rift. Sources close to Camilla said she felt cornered. Meanwhile, William was reportedly frustrated, believing his stepmother was politicizing their work. Things came to a head at Clarence House. King Charles called a private meeting with William. He was upset. He asked why he hadn't been fully briefed. He called it a breach of protocol. But William didn't back down. "This isn't about protocol, it's about survival," he replied. His words revealed the gap between generations. Charles followed the old ways. William was ready to change them. The meeting ended with no agreement. Then came the leaks to the press. Reports from Charles's side painted William as impulsive. William's team fired back, saying Charles was stuck in the past. The back and forth made one thing clear. This wasn't just a disagreement. It was a power shift. Prince Harry's support for the initiative should have been a unifying moment. He called it Mum's Legacy in Action, a line that grabbed headlines and gave the project even more global attention. But behind the scenes, it struck a nerve with William. According to experts, the brothers had a tense phone call. William was frustrated. He accused Harry of using the initiative to stay relevant. "You can't just jump in now," William reportedly told him. Harry didn't back down. In an interview days later, he stated, "Diana's work belongs to everyone, not just the palace." The public reaction was split. Some praised Harry for his passion. Others felt he was adding fuel to the fire. What started as a tribute to Diana was turning into a showdown between brothers, and the initiative's mission was starting to get lost in the noise. The complex history of these two brothers largely defines the future of the monarchy. If you want a deeper analysis of their relationship, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our upcoming videos. To understand the present, you have to look at the past. William and Harry were once inseparable, the heart of a forward-looking monarchy. But behind the smiles, something darker was happening. Harry's book, Spare, revealed the depth of the rift. One story shocked everyone: a physical fight with William. According to Harry's account, an angry William confronted him. He grabbed him by the collar, ripped his necklace, and knocked him to the floor. Harry landed on the dog's bowl, which cracked, cutting his back. Harry claims William challenged him to hit back. He didn't. William left, only to return later looking regretful. But the damage was done. It wasn't just a family fight. It was a symbol. William wasn't just a frustrated brother. He was a man taking power, letting nothing stand in his way. According to Harry, the fight started over Meghan. William called her difficult, rude, and abrasive, words that echoed the cruel headlines Meghan had been facing. Harry saw it clearly. His own family was starting to sound like the tabloids. Palace staff, Harry claims, were leaking stories to make them look bad. Meanwhile, William and Kate remained silent. They didn't defend Harry. They didn't defend Meghan. They just watched. Royal experts suggest this was a deliberate move. William and Kate were slowly clearing their path to the throne. Anyone who didn't fit the picture was quietly pushed aside, and Harry, with his outspoken nature, became the target. The bridesmaid dress drama was another turning point. It might have seemed like a simple disagreement, but new information suggests it was part of a quiet plan, a plan where Kate worked to push Meghan out of the royal circle. According to author Tom Quinn, the argument was intense. Both women ended up in tears. But this is where the story takes a turn. Instead of clearing the air, Kate remained silent. She allowed the media to run with the story that Meghan had made her cry. Meghan later denied this in her Oprah interview. It was the other way around, but by then, it was too late. Meghan's public image was damaged. Kate's was cleaner than ever. Some believe the story was purposefully edited and leaked. After the incident, Meghan's role seemed to shrink. Isolated and powerless, she and Harry made the decision to leave. Looking back, the fight over a dress wasn't just about clothes. It may have been the first step in Kate's quiet consolidation of power. Now, with King Charles facing health issues, the focus is shifting rapidly. William and Kate are moving closer to the throne. Their grip on the crown is tightening, but to get there, they've had to clear the path. First Meghan, then Harry. Now it's just them. They aren't just rewriting the monarchy. They're replacing it, slowly, quietly, and without asking permission.